A wonderful morning to all the sport lovers across the world. It's Ayo Adams on the sports segment of the weekend show. And I'll be running you through some of the biggest headlines across the world of football, particularly the Champions League, the Under 17 World Cup going up in India, and then we'll round up with weekend fixtures across the globe. Well, we'll start with the Flamingos, who sadly they crashed out of the championship of the Under 17 Women's World Cup going on in India. They lost 5-6 to Colombia on penalties. The girls did remarkably well, but the Colombian girls were nothing but spectacular on the day. They were more formidable than our girls, and they gave it their all. But finally, they went into the penalty shootouts. That was also the same mode they used to qualify into the semi-finals, which is historical for the very first time in their career. But then, well, kudos to them as they will be meeting Germany in the third place. Moving on, we also still have Spain, who defeated Germany in their second semi-final tie, 1-0. The goal was scored courtesy Lucia Corrales in the 90th minute of the game. It was nothing but spectacular and brilliant. And Spain they've now finally qualified into the finals of the Women's Under 17 World Cup in India. They will be facing Colombia on Sunday by 3 p.m. Don't forget that the third place of the Nigerian Flamingos Under 17 will also happen on Sunday at Navi Mumbai, as they'll be facing Germany. Germany was the team that Nigeria played at the opening ceremony of the tournament. They lost that game 2-1, but we'll hope to see if they will come back formidable to win the third place championship and bring home a silverware as opposed to coming home empty-handed. They've been nothing but spectacular so far. We wish them well, and we hope that they will come home with the silverware on Sunday. Don't forget to tune in. The match will commence by 12 p.m. Nigeria versus Germany at the Under 17 Women's World Cup, third place. Well, moving on, there's been a lot of magnificent outreach and outcry and spectacular displays across the world of football in the Uefa Champions League. It was nothing but spectacular match day fives, as we saw lots and lots of brilliant and spectacles go on. Barcelona, Juventus, Atletico Madrid have now crashed out of the Champions League. Well, here is the major stars from the Champions League. There you have it. After match day 6. Within those matches played, here are the major stats. A total of 248 goals has been scored within 31 teams. Serie A's Napoli, who are arguably one of the best teams in the world at the moment, have scored the most goals with 20 goals and 10 different players on the goal scorer tally. Kylian Mbappe and Mo Salah top this goal scorer chart with 6 goals apiece. Liverpool's Diogo Jota and Man City's Joao Cancelo both top the leaderboard for the most assists with 4 each on the tally. Manchester City have the most passes completed with 3,406, 322 more than Real Madrid with 3,082. Overall, Real Madrid midfield maestro Toni Kroos has completed the most passes with a finished total of 420 passes, as Marco Verratti is sat below the German with 392, and Jens of Celtic in third with 382. Manchester City also retained the most possession with a 65% in top spot. Defensively, Manchester City are the team with the lowest amount of goals considered so far in the tournament with just 1 and scoring 11 in the process, while Copenhagen have not scored a single goal after 5 match days. Salzburg lead as the team with the most tackles, 36 for the Austrian team. Dynamo Zagreb are the team with the most defensive blocks with 36, and Frankfurt are the team who have recovered the most loose balls with 253 recovered balls. Marco Verratti lead again with the most tackles at 26, as Valery Bonda of Shakhtar Donetsk and Maurice Jens of Celtic have successfully blocked the most shots with 9 blocks each, while Piero Incampi of Bayern Leverkusen is the engine room with the most successful ball recovered for any player with 45. 21-year-old Anatoly Trubin of Shakhtar Donetsk and 37-year-old Simon Mignolet of Club Brugge are the goalkeepers with the most saves so far this season with 27. And finally, Spanish giant Barcelona have now been knocked out of the group stages by Bayern Munich for 2 straight seasons, alongside Spanish rivals Atletico Madrid, who were kicked out dramatically by Bayern Leverkusen, and not leaving out the old ladies of Juventus, who exit the tournament in early stages for the first time in 9 years at the hands of Benfica. That's all we have for you from the UEFA Champions League updates. Let's take you back to the studio. Well, wonderful scenes there as Barcelona have been knocked out of the UEFA Champions League for the second season consecutively by Bayern Munich. It's a sad sight. I'm not happy. I'm a Barcelona fan. And we're knocked out of the Champions League. That's not all. Real Madrid are now the only Spanish team in the Champions League knockout stages, as Barcelona, Sevilla, Atletico Madrid have now been knocked out into the Europa League. Juventus, for the first time in 9 years, have also been knocked out of the UEFA Champions League, as the old ladies are having one of their worst stints in football since 2013-2014. And there's been speculation that Massimiliano Allegri might be sacked and Antonio Conte might be brought in, while a total of 12 teams have qualified into the Champions League knockout stages. Well, I'll read out those teams to you, and they go as we have Manchester City, who have also qualified into the Champions League. They're looking to make to win the championship for the very first time, as they've also brought in formidable players. Napoli happened to be the team with the most goals scored so far in the Champions League, with 20 goals scored and 10 different goal scorers on the goal scorer tally. Well, our very own boy Victor Osimhen happens to be there. Paris Saint-Germain have also qualified into the knockout stages. They are hoping to win the Champions League this year after a bad outing last season. Borussia Dortmund have also qualified in second place alongside Manchester City in their group. Bayern Munich are the team who knocked out Barcelona 2 seasons consecutively. Very, very sad sight of Barcelona. Anytime they see Bayern Munich, they are always terrified. Chelsea, one of the defending champions of the tournament, have also qualified into the next round. Inter Milan, Real Madrid, the title holder, have also qualified. Club Brugge, who happen to be the dark horses of this season, have also qualified. Benfica, who knocked out the old ladies of Juventus, are also into the round of 16. FC Porto and former winners Liverpool are also there. We have 4 more slots open, which will go down in match day 6. We'll wait to see who will fill up those 4 slots. Well, moving on, we'll now move into the weekend fixtures, as we have lots and lots of amazing fixtures happening over the weekend in the Premier League, in the La Liga, and in the Serie A. We'll walk you through some of the fixtures happening. Let's go straight into the Premier League, where we have Leicester City, who are going to be playing Manchester City at the King Power Stadium. Early kickoff this Saturday. Bournemouth will be taking on Spurs. Spurs will be looking to rejuvenate themselves after losing a couple of matches ago. We also have Brentford will be taking on Wolves, while Brighton will be taking on Chelsea. Notably, that Graham Potter is going back home to face his former team. Well, moving on Saturday still, we still have Crystal Palace who will be taking on Southampton. Newcastle will be taking on new rejuvenated Aston Villa, while Fulham will be hosting Everton at the Craven Cottage. Liverpool will be taking on Leeds. On Sunday, we'll have Arsenal looking to get back on their horses after the 1-1 draw against Southampton last week against Nottingham Forest, where Taiwo Awoniyi of Nigeria stunned Liverpool last weekend, while Manchester United will be taking on West Ham at the Old Trafford. In La Liga, Cadiz will be taking on Atletico Madrid 3:15 this Saturday, while Barcelona will be taking on, it will be away from home to Valencia at 8 p.m. at the Mestalla. On Sunday, Real Madrid will be taking on Girona and looking to keep their horses running at the top of the table, while Real Sociedad will be taking on Real Betis, some of the most formidable teams so far in the La Liga this season. In the Serie A, we have Lazio, who is going to be playing Salernitana. Torino will be playing AC Milan, and Hellas Verona will be taking on AS Roma, while Napoli will be fighting with Sassuolo to stay on top of the table. Lecce will be looking to take on Juventus, who are still finding their feet in the championship this season, while Inter Milan, after qualifying to the Champions League, are coming back home to play Sampdoria, while Empoli will be taking on Atalanta, who are going to be looking to pursue Napoli at the top of the log. While you know how we do it, we went to the street to ask the fans. After a brilliant display from Victor Osimhen, back-to-back display brilliantly for Napoli, as they scored the brilliant winner against AS Roma last weekend, we went to the street to ask the fans through Onile Corner if Victor Osimhen is one of the best strikers in Africa. Here's what they have to say. My name is Ayo Adams. I'll be seeing you same time next week. Bye-bye for now.